Welcome, Antonio, to this talk of the month.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure having you here. So, the theme of this conversation is losing a father to death, which you have experienced.
Yes, I'm experienced in the topic. Yes.
Yes, you are. Would you like to share with us what happened with your father and when this happened?
So I lost my father. It's 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now. Is it 6? Yeah, I think it's 6. In a motorcycle accident. It was on February 14th in 2016. So perfect day for him to go, actually, because he was a very big advocate of like friendship and love and all that stuff. My father, he was like the world to me. He was the only person that I was really, really, really close to. So when I lost him, I basically felt completely alone in the world. Uh, yes, I have a mom and I have a sister, but I was not close to them. So it was like, yeah, like super lonely, like very disorienting because I just didn't know what to do. He was also the reason why I was studying. I was studying business administration, and it was all because of him. Like I had lots of dreams and like aspirations to fulfill in his name. And so when he passed way before my graduation. At that point, well, I was just like what is the point now, right? And so it's a very confusing time, but now in retrospect, I'm very grateful to be able to say this, actually, that it's the best and worst thing that's happened to me, but best being the bigger side, because thanks to this experience, I was able to grow. The connection that I have with my mom and my sister now, I was able to open up a channel of conversation with my mom that let me see how much she loves me. Same thing with my sister. Um, Even though I left home almost 10 years ago, living in Europe, since I'm from Mexico, uh, this event has also shown me that when I say losing my father with quote unquote, is because now I understand that I never lost him, because after his passing, the one thing that I wanted to do was like feel him closer. So the first thing that you want to do is like fulfill all his unfinished dreams and passions. So I received some money from insurance from his passing, and the first thing that I did was just grab the money and, you could say, run. But I traveled for a very long time. It was almost 2 years, but that led to so many great experiences. I grew to a level that I could never have possibly imagined, really. I changed my life direction completely, like 180.
As you mentioned, you are from Mexico, but when your father died, you were
I
in
was in
Norway?
Prague. No, in
You were in
Prague.
Prague,
Yeah.
and your father died in Mexico?
Yes.
So, do you remember your reaction when you found out that your father had died in an accident and you were that far away?
Yeah. The funniest, most embarrassing thing about it is that since it was Valentine's Day, I had a date that day, and let's just say that I had just yeah. I was with somebody at that point, and I was in my birthday suit.
Yeah.
And when I go grab my phone, and then I see tons of messages just piled up there, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, I never get it like more than 3 messages. And then I started reading. It was like messages and calls and from my mom and my sister and some other people, and I was just not understanding. And then I just started reading, and then my sister, "I'm sorry that I have to tell you like this. I wanted to call you, but I think you're asleep or whatever." And yeah, like, dad was in an accident, and well, he didn't make it. And at that point I was like, there was just this, like, I don't even know how to describe it, like some fog just like boom came over me, and like I
Mm.
suddenly felt numb. I was like, no way. And then I started trying to call them, and they weren't picking up either. And I just started crying, and the girl was like, "What the fuck happened?"
Mm.
And I was like, My dad just died, like, and she was like, didn't know what to say. I got my I put some clothes on, and then I just went for get water. I was completely disoriented. It's as if somebody would just like had slapped me,
Yeah.
and I was like, where am I? What the hell is going on? Like, I
Yeah.
could not believe it at that moment. And yeah, like I couldn't stop crying. Like, I was like in denial of like it happening, but I at the same time accepting it, and like just I started, well, bawling like for hours. I think I spent like a good 1 or 2 hours like just crying until I could cry no more. Like, there was
Mm.
no physical tears that could come out of my eyes.
Mm.
Um, and then I started rearranging the trip to Mexico.
Mm.
So it does hit you like a truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
One thing that I did in the funeral with only like my sister and and his best friend, uh, I just said a really bad joke.
In the
Like, just my
funeral?
dad. Yeah, yeah. Like, just with my sister and his best friend.
Okay.
Um, they were about to put him to cremate, and I said to the cremator, I don't know how you call them. I was like, I want him well done, please.
Oh.
But I guess I at the time, like, I just like needed that, like, just to soften the blow. Or that's what my dad would have said. I don't know. It was just something that, yeah, like, maybe it was for me to just soften the blow a bit. um but it was unreal, like, standing in front of him, like feeling his body like completely stiff. Like, I remember, like, before leaving the chamber, I went on to like grab his hair, like, not like softly or nicely like you would do to somebody that you love. It was just like I really like grabbed, and I was like, yep, okay, that's the body, yeah. And it felt so weird because even the hair felt cold, and I've
Mm.
never experienced that. Like, it is very, very, very shocking. I mean, it is a great experience for all the things that I've grown, but I don't wish it on anybody. But
Mm.
the sad part is, like, nobody can really avoid it.
No,
So,
yeah.
and this really, that's why I'm really grateful to that you asked me to talk about it, because I feel like more people should ask me about it. Like, people that haven't experienced this, they should ask about it, and or at least the conversation around death should be opened,
Yeah.
because it is a magical thing. It's not like a cut and dry sadness party in a way.
Mm.
yes, there's a grieving process, but the thing that blooms inside of you afterwards is like beyond words, really.
In the grieving process, which is so individual for everybody,
Mm,
but
mm,
as you say, it's not so, I don't know, it's a bit scary for people to ask or to talk about. And for
mm,
many people, it can be difficult to know how
mm,
to engage and what to say.
mm,
What did you experience was the best thing for people to, what was the best thing for you when you were grieving from
mm,
other people, if you know what I mean?
mm. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like there was anything that they could do. Um, I- at the beginning, I didn't like it. Like that people said, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like I'm like, "You're sorry for what?" Like you did nothing, right?
Mm.
Of course, that was like a little bit of anger, but it wasn't really about them. It was about like the frustration of the feeling and wanting it to be undone. But at the end, I understood that like that's really what you can. There's not really much you could say, even if I that now have experienced this, and then I heard somebody like somebody's close friend or family member passes. There's not even now. I don't have anything to say. Like
Mm.
it's if the conversation like comes into to presence and then you just acknowledge it. That's the only thing that you can do. Acknowledge, like saying I'm sorry for your loss, or maybe asking them like of course you have to ask permission. For me you don't have to, but like for other people they might need like would you want to talk about it? Nobody ever. I think that that's the one thing that maybe would have been better, like if people just ask, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Because nobody really asks. Everybody just says I'm sorry and then just like kind of go away from the topic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Had it been long since you had seen your father, since you were in Europe and he was in Mexico?
Yeah, it was about a year. And the funniest thing
Mm.
is that before leaving the last time from summer when I was visiting, I, it didn't feel like that last time I was there, but like in the airport I could not stop like crying. Like I could not leave my dad, like as if I knew somehow that it was
Mm.
happening. Like I literally felt it was kind of the last time I was going to see him for some reason.
You were talking about how, I can't remember your words, but that something
Mm.
could bloom inside from this experience,
Yeah.
which is very probably for many interesting, since death is often
Mm.
seen as a very dark and
Mm.
tragic, sad
Mm.
thing. So would you mind telling us what happened with you after his death?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe, but like the easier way of putting it is I became more sensitive to the world. Like I appreciate things more, like really small things. Like I don't know, I'm trying to think of the smallest thing that I like if I arrive at the bus stop exactly before it starts raining and my bus arrives and then I take it just
Yeah.
before it starts raining. It's like that is a really magical moment now.
Mm.
Or I don't know if I'm driving and then like somebody lets me pass, which is not rare, but like you appreciate those things that usually you don't really even look.
Mm.
Um, But one thing that I became more sensitive to is like when I would be in a movie and then they would show a scene of a funeral, I would always cry.
Mm.
Now, not so much. It's been like dampened a little bit, but whenever a movie or a show has some sort of emotion behind it, like they're trying to give you the climax of the whole purpose of the movies and stuff, I always cry. Like I used to always like tear up, but now like I really feel it, like I kind of have to stop it before, because I can't actually bowl. I can start bowling, and that is something very sweet in a way. um like you kind of see love everywhere. Like it's much easier to perceive those, the very very how little you actually need to feel love, like, and that you actually don't need anything to feel it. It's not like a conditional thing. And which is one of the other things that I learned from like giving space to my mom, and for her to talk about, because my mom and my dad were um divorced since I was 7. And the reason why I favored my dad is because in my mind I always just thought it was like my mom's fault for whatever reason. I never even asked, and then that's why I'm saying like giving her space to like tell me why was that, and then like knowing the story about it, and finding out that my dad actually had cheated on my mom, and all these years I put him in this high horse, and I had always been against like infidelity and stuff unconsciously, that I didn't know that that was what was happening. And so then seeing like how badly I treated my mom, because I treated her bad, like I was really resentful, like, you know, seeing one message of her just saying, "Hello honey, how are you doing?" And I'd be like, just leave me alone, you know, like with anger, like real anger. And then the moment that I learned all these things, and then seeing my behavior for all these years, and my mom still being there like for me, it's just like it shows the love of like of a mother is just like unyielding. And it just like even now it like it puts me a bit into like appreciation and gratefulness. Like it's just so beautiful. And we always think that love is this string, is like a string of a guitar or whatever, that as soon as somebody is gone, like they pass away, that suddenly the string is broken.
Yeah.
But in reality, what I got to understand is that this string is always there. And what you learn is that that string, of course, as corny as it sounds, is like the love that connects you both. And what bloomed from all this experience is that that string, as I said, it's like a guitar string that you can always pluck, and then the vibration of that string makes you feel things, right? And the more that you see all these strings with all the people around you, the easier it is to pluck them and like really feel all the love that is around you. So, and it's not just about people, it's like about objects or moments even, like everything has some sort of like connection to you. It's so easy now for me to really feel all the love that is around me without real reason, you know. Even now I'm single. I've been single for, I don't know, 4 years. And even at times my mind wants to be like, oh, you're sad, depressed, whatever. But then I just look around, and then I'm like, well, I have a home, I have this, I have that. And then, or just breathing, you know, like even breathing can like strike such a resonance, like that it just makes me, it brings me out of that, like you could say uh bad moment, bad thoughts. I don't know, I don't even know how to put that.
State of mind.
Yeah, state of mind, whatever. So that's what kind of like bloomed, and I feel extremely grateful for that. Yeah.
Can you do you feel that you, in this way that you describe, can connect to your father and the love between you? Yeah,
definitely. Like the reason why I say like I use the guitar string as a metaphor is because it's easier to picture that you can pluck it because it's there, right? That's what it's meant to do. It's like it's meant to be plucked so you can feel it or hear it.
Mm.
And whenever I feel like I need him, I just like go to my memories. And it's not about remembering his face or his touch or his laughter. Yes, those are great things, but really learning how to feel like that love that he brought to me when when he was around physically,
Mm.
that you can always feel, that you can always go back to, because it's always there.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's everywhere, but it's here, you know.
Yeah.
This is where I start feeling like I'm crazy. But I know, I just know, it's hard to explain in words,
Yeah.
but it's easier to feel.
Have this experience with your father's death changed the way, or has it done anything in the way you look at death?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, after he passed away, I mean, it was not my first time around death. Like I had lost my grandfather, both of my grandfathers and a grandmother,
Mm.
but maybe I was too young. I mean, the oldest I was, I think it was 11.
Mm.
Um, and I did love one of my grandpas a lot, and I did cry then, but it didn't affect me that much. Um, because even then, like even with my grandfather, um, I would strike that chord
Yeah.
without even really knowing it. It's just like when I wanted like to feel him, I would just kind of remember him in a way, or just kind of talk to him in my mind, not even physically, and then
Yeah.
I would get the feeling of his presence. That was enough. uh Shit, I actually forgot. Oops. uh, sorry. I forgot the question. It was,
If it changed your view on death,
yes,
this
if it changed my
experience.
view on that.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. So yes, when I lost my father, instead of running away from this phenomenon, my usual nature is I get curious about things. And so I am not religious by any means or a stretch of the imagination, but when I was traveling and I ended up really wanting to go to Nepal for some reason, then that was, and before then I read a Buddhist book, and I kind of really liked the philosophy,
Mm.
since it's not really a religion, it's just a way of life in a way.
Yeah.
And when I was in Nepal, I really felt something like opened up. I did this hiking thing for like 2 weeks, and it gave me a lot of time to think and really kind of while I was walking. And I mean, I was with some people that I met. While I was walking, sometimes I would lag behind or be in front of somebody, um, and I would just talk to my dad or talk to the universe or whatever. But it was more to like get things out, like get just whatever was I was holding on to let it go. And at the end of this hike trip, I ran across a book called the Tibetan Book of the Living and Dying,
Mm.
and I just like devoured the thing. I grew up in a Catholic home. Not My mom is not super religious anymore, but she was back then, and my dad was never really religious. But it was the first time that I was really kind of told about death, and
Mm.
this was like that's when like the light bulb went off, and I was like, why haven't I heard anything about this before? Why is it shunned? Like, why is it like shushed? It's like, oh yeah, your mother, father, whatever, is in heaven now with God and blah blah blah.
Mm.
And that's it. Like at least in the Catholic community, that's what it is. It's not a real talk. It's
Yeah.
a masking device.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least that's how I feel about it, and that's how I felt about it when I was reading this book, and then I started reading other things. Another really great book was on grief and grieving. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. Sorry, author. Really, you did a really great book, and I can't remember your name. Sorry. But yeah, like also like learning the stages of the grieving and really embracing it to the point where now, for example, sometimes I even miss feeling so sad because it makes you feel so deeply, like that happy moments or things that are just like monotonous sometimes are not like, they don't move you that much anymore. But like death has such power of like showing you how much we can actually feel. And yeah, that's how that's what changed my view of dying, like in a positive way. Like it should be talked about more. And I think that's the reason we connected, because you were probably the first one that were super open to hear about it and talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was 2 minutes within and we were talking about death, right?
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like and I think I even told you, I think you're the only one I've ever really like went in and gave you all the deets, because nobody ever asked or I felt like they were comfortable to really talk about it. Most people just feel so afraid of even contemplating their own death. And I mean, I understand it's scary, but it's also naive to not even think about it when that's one of the only sure things that we know that's going to happen.
It is. I will close it off with one last question for you.
Okay.
And that is, what is one of the greatest memories you have with your father?
Actually, this is really funny, actually, or well, I find it funny. Maybe it's not funny. I could say that the best moment I had with my dad is not even in a time when he was alive anymore.
Okay.
So I did this cycling trip through Norway, and on the last day, on the last kilometers, I think I was just crossing like 25 kilometers, and I had 25 more from like the 2,000 cumulative kilometers that I had to do. I was in a road in Lofoten. It was like -2 or 0 degrees. It was raining. I didn't really have clothes on like that really protected me from the warm, other than cycling. And I remember feeling like looking up and kind of, it's not like praying to him or anything, but I could feel him like there with me. I don't even remember what I said at that moment, to be honest. That kind of called him into being in in that moment. But I just started crying while I was like cycling, and I was like, but it was like complete joy, like out of complete joy. I was living this huge adventure, and my dad was able to see and feel every single step of the way, even today and now. And I felt so grateful at that moment. That's why I started crying. Like I was not living for him, but he was living with me now all the time, and it feels really cool. That's But the funny part was that the image of me crying in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that moment happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the best memory I could say.
Wow. That is, yeah, I have got no words for that, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank
I think so too.
you so much for sharing that.
Mm.
Thank you so much for coming on here. I really appreciate your openness and everything that you've shared in your experience with this. And maybe it can help a lot of people to just listen to your story.
Yeah, I hope it does, and I hope it opens up the conversation or it opens up the minds to the possibility of how beautiful this process can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you should wish it to happen, but like at least if and when it happens, know that there's something really beautiful that will evolve inside of you if you really embrace it. You have to embrace it. You can't like deny it.
It doesn't actually take very much to make the deepest part of us incredibly happy. You know, just to be here, just to appreciate being here. To feel that you're alive, to be in touch with your heart. That's it. That's it.